I've received recommendations from all local guild halls in Cyrodiil. You've done very well for yourself. You may now enter the university. Hey, welcome back to another Elder Scrolls lore reading. And today, we are once again returning to the Arcane University of the Mages Guild during the events of the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. If you are looking for a video that's more about the creation of the Mages Guild, I already made that a while ago, you can check it out here. But the idea behind this video is more like, what would you as a novice student have to read on your first day of school? And that curriculum is what I have gathered for you today. If you would like to skip around and choose what you personally would like to see first, as always, timestamps are in the description. First, of course, the rules for membership within the guild itself, with Imperial Charter of the Guild of Mages. It can be found in any of the many guild halls throughout Cyrodiil. Purpose: the Guild of Mages provides benefits to scholars of magic and established laws regarding the proper use of magic. The Guild is dedicated to the collection, preservation, and distribution of magical knowledge with an emphasis on ensuring that all citizens of Tamriel benefit from this knowledge. Authority: the Guild of Mages was established on the Somerset Isle in the year 230 of the Second Era by Vanus Galerian and Relis XII. It was later confirmed by the Guild's Act of Potentate Versidue-Shaie. Rules and procedures: crimes against fellow members of the Guild are treated with the harshest discipline. Whether a member may regain their status in the Guild is determined by the Archmage. Addendum: effective 3rd Era 431st. Any Guild member committing a crime against the Guild is to be suspended immediately. The suspension may be lifted at the discretion of the Steward of the Council of Mages. Any Guild member receiving multiple suspensions may, at the determination of the Council, be summarily and permanently dismissed from the Guild. Membership requirements: the Guild of Mages only accepts candidates of keen intelligence and a dominant will. Candidates must exhibit mastery in the great schools of magic, destruction, alteration, illusion, and mysticism. Candidates must also display practical knowledge of enchantments and alchemical processes. Applications for membership candidates must present themselves to the Steward of the Guild Hall for examination and approval. Addendum: effective 3rd Era 431st. As per Archmage Hannibal Traven, all candidates for membership in the Guild of Mages must be approved by all presiding Guild Hall stewards, with said approval submitted in writing to the Council of Mages in a timely manner. Addendum: effective 3rd Era 431st. As per Council mandate, sale of spells in the Imperial Province is to be redistributed across Guild Halls. The following halls are to be responsible for each school of magic: Alteration, Shaidenhall; Conjuration, Coral; Destruction, Skingrad; Illusion, Bravil; Mysticism, Leowin; Restoration, Anvil. Attachment A: Mages Guild chapters in Vardenfell District, Province of Morrowind. Chapters are established in guild-owned freestanding guild halls in the towns of Aldrune, Balmora, and Caldera. The chapter in Sadrith Mora is established in Wolverine Hall under lease from the Telvanni Council. The chapter in Vivec is established in the Foreign Quarter under lease from the Tribunal Temple. Next, before you take your first lesson, you should probably brush up a little bit with the Manual of Spellcraft, an introduction to magic, and the Mages Guild. It can be bought here at the first edition in the Imperial City Marketplace. The book contains an inordinate number of scrawlings along the margins. The few that were immediately readable suggest that they are notes for someone who needs frequent reminders on the basics of spellcasting. The beginning spellcaster. The most powerful mages in Tamriel were once beginners. They all had similar early experiences. Exposure to magic kindled an interest and/or unlocked some latent ability, followed by years of hard work. These intrepid souls honed their skills, learned new spells, and vigorously trained their minds and bodies to become the formidable figures they were known as during their later lives. The Mages Guild of Tamriel has long been the first stop on a long road to knowledge and power for many individuals. Providing magical services to the general public, the guild offers a wide variety of spells for purchase, and is recommended as the first stop for any aspiring spellcaster. Independent dealers may be found, though their selection of spells is often not as comprehensive as that of the Mages Guild. Many spells are beyond the capabilities of beginning mages. The ability to render oneself invisible, for example, is an advanced power and is beyond the novice spellcaster. Through practice, a mage may become more skilled in a given school of magic and find themselves proficient enough to begin exploring its more powerful aspects. A fledgling mage should not be daunted by his ability to wield certain powers, but should instead use this as a point of focus and drive for bettering himself. Rather than becoming discouraged, the student should look forward to higher levels of skill, such as advanced techniques of absorbing spells, summoning lesser, and eventually greater, Daedra and undead for research purposes only, and protection against specific types of spells, such as fire, frost, and shock spells. Mages wishing to specialize in a particular school of magic are encouraged to learn as many spells as possible within that school and to practice them frequently. All mages, whether specializing or nurturing a general interest, are encouraged to apply for membership within the Mages Guild. Beyond services available to the general public, the accomplished guild member has access to many exclusive services, such as advanced spellcraft and enchanting. These services have been deemed potentially dangerous to the public at large, and have been restricted to higher-ranked guild members in good standing by the Council of Mages. Citizens interested in further use of magic should consult their local Mages Guild Archmagister. And finally, you should become familiar with the political comings and goings of the guild itself. So I recommend reading The Black Arts on Trial, a summary on the debate which led to the Mages Guild's resolution on necromancy. It can be found here, on a desk in the Mystic Emporium in the Imperial City Marketplace. History. Necromancy, commonly called the Black Arts, has a history that dates back before recorded time. Virtually all the earliest laws of the land make mention of it as expressly forbidden on pain of death. Independent practitioners of the arts of sorcery, however, continued its study. The Psijic Order of the Isle of Artaeum, precursor to our Mages Guild, also forbade its use, not only because it was dangerous, but their belief in the holy and unholy ancestor spirits made it heretical. Again, despite this, we hear many stories of students and masters who ignored this stricture. When Vanus Galerian left Artaeum, he may have disagreed with the Psijics on much, but he also refused to allow necromancy to be taught in the guild. Almost 1100 years have passed since the time of Vanus Galerian, and there have been many archmagisters to lead this guild. The question of necromancy has continued to be asked. The strictures against it in the guild have never been lifted, but attitudes about it have shifted back and forth over the years. Some archmagisters have been inclined to ignore it entirely, some have fought very actively against it, and still other archmagisters have been rumored to be necromancers themselves. In my new role as Archmagister of the Mages Guild, it is my duty to set policy on this matter. Though I have my own opinions on the Black Arts, I took counsel with two of the most learned mages in the Empire, Magister Voth Carlus of Corinth and Magister Uliseta Grakog of Orsinium, and we debated for 2 days. What follows are summaries of the salient points of the debate, arguments and counter-arguments, which led to the resolution of the Mages Guild on the subject of necromancy. Argument. Argument by Master Grakog. We do not make it disappear by ignoring it. As an intellectual institution dedicated to the study of magical arts and sciences, we have obligations to the truth. Censoring ourselves in our scholarship is antithetical to our mission of neutrality and objectivity. Counter-argument by Master Carlus. The Mages Guild must balance its quest for knowledge with responsible caution and ethical standards. It is not censoring a student's course of study to have him proceed cautiously and with purity of purpose. It is not limiting a student's freedom to set rules and boundaries. Indeed, it's essential. Argument by Master Carlus. Necromancy is an anathema throughout the civilized world. To embrace it publicly the Mages Guild would inspire fear and hostility in the populace at large. Vanis Galerian wanted his institution to be unlike the Sigic Order, which was elitist and separatist. We ignore public opinion at our own risk. We will certainly lose our charters in many places, including very likely the whole of Morrowind, where sentiment against necromancy is very strong. Counter-argument by Master Grakog. Yes, we should be sensitive to the concerns of the community, but they should not and must not dictate our scholarship. Necromancer, to many uneducated persons, simply means evil mage. It is madness to limit our work because of prejudices and half-formed understandings. It is an affront to the purpose of objective study to turn our back on a subject merely because of public opinion. Argument by Master Grakog. Necromancers are a scourge on Tamriel. Whether operating independently or in concert with the Slodes or King of Worms Matamarco, they are responsible for many horrors, animated zombies and skeletons, and other forms of the undead. To best combat this menace, we must understand the powers of the necromancer, and we cannot do that by restricting our study of the black arts. Counter-argument by Master Carlos. No one is disputing the threat of the black arts. In fact, that is the very essence of my argument against the Mages Guild making it a school to be taught to our initiates. We can and should know what our enemy is capable of, but we must be careful not to step into a trap of looking too deep into his ways and making those ways our own. We do no one any good if by studying the evil ways we become evil ourselves. Argument by Master Carlos. Necromancy is inherently dangerous. One cannot dabble in it. The simplest spell requires the spilling of blood and immediately begins to corrupt the caster's soul. This is not conjecture, but a simple fact. It is irresponsible of the guild to teach and thereby encourage a sort of magical study which has proven itself time and time again to bring nothing but terror and misery on the practitioner and the world. Counter-argument by Master Grakog. All schools of magic are dangerous to the uninitiated. A simple fireball spell from the School of Destruction can cause great harm when cast by a novice, not only to others but to the mage himself. The School of Mysticism, by its very nature, forces the practitioner to divorce his mind from logic, to embrace a temporary sort of insanity, which one might argue is very like corrupting one's soul. Argument by Master Grakog. The guild already permits some forms of necromancy. The schools of Magicka are, as we know, artificial constructs, originally formulated by Vanis Galerian to divide and thereby simplify study. They have changed many times throughout the years, but at their heart every master knows they're all linked together. When a student of conjuration summons a guardian ghost, he is touching the school of necromancy. When a student of enchantment uses a trapped soul, he too may be considered guilty of a black art. The School of Mysticism, as I stated before, has some kinship with necromancy as well. To state that students may not learn the ways of necromancy is to stifle common skills in the other, more historically legitimate schools of the guild. Counter-argument by Master Carlos. Yes, the schools are intertwined, but the standard spells of each school have passed the proof of time. We know that a student of mysticism properly instructed will not be permanently harmed by his experience. In many ways, it's a question of extremes, how far we permit our studies to take us. Necromancy by its nature relies on the practitioner going further into darkness than is wise, virtually guaranteeing his destruction. It has no place in the Mages Guild. Conclusion. The risks of studying necromancy outweigh its usefulness. The guild does not wish to censor the study of any of its members, but it will not tolerate studies in the black arts, except in limited form, for the purpose of combating its evil adherents. This may only be done by rare individuals who have proven themselves both highly skilled and highly cautious, and then only with my express permission and supervision. Afterward, I regret to acknowledge the truth behind the rumor that Master Uliseta Grakog was more than an apologist for necromancy. She was a necromancer herself. Upon this revelation, the Knights of the Lamp attempted to arrest her at the guild house in Orsinium, but she made good on her escape. We have every confidence in the replacement magister in Orsinium. Though I disagree, I respected her logical reasoning enough to include her arguments in this book, and I see no reason to remove them. It is disappointing, however, to see that her interest in the truth was nothing more than a euphemism for her slavery to the black arts. This unfortunate situation merely illustrates how essential it is for guild members to be wary of the lore of necromancy and to be vigilant of its practitioners' infiltration in our Magus Guild. Hey, thanks for watching that thing you just watched. You all know the things to do, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun good stuff. I don't know when is the next time I'm going to be able to make a video like this. I have personal things that are going on right now, so it might be a little bit longer for the next one, but I'm going to try my best to get something out by February. It's the obvious one, you know what it is. It's going to be it's going to be weird, but you got to do it. But until then, I'm going to try to live stream at least once a week at a random time on this channel, so if you are around for that, feel free to stop by, say hi, we'll play games and shit. But until then, remember, the future rests on your shoulders. Farewell, my friend.